Howdy friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm actually going to give you a sneak peek on a project that I am working on, one that I have been putting off for far too long, and it's my recipe binder. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and I'm also going to talk about why I think it's so important that you have one of these in your home. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know I do talk a little bit about prepping on this channel and on my social media feeds. I am a bit of a prepper. I do believe in buying things in bulk. I do believe in being prepared for whatever types of scenarios may present themselves. And one of the things that is probably one of my most invaluable resources in my home is my physical recipe binder. Do I love tools like Pinterest? I absolutely do. And I used to keep all of my recipes on Pinterest boards. I still do because I want people to be able to look at my Pinterest boards and get inspiration, right? But it was an event that happened back when we lived in Beaverton. So it must have been a long time ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, when a massive ice storm came through and we were without power and without internet. And it wasn't that that particular event was actually stressful for us. It wasn't, because we had a generator, and actually back then we didn't have a generator. That's why we bought one because of that storm. That storm taught us a lot. And it wasn't like, oh, we starved because I didn't have access to all my recipes, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking about what would I do? Because I don't have them committed to memory. Even our, most coveted, favorite banana muffin recipe, I still reference my recipe binder every single time I make them. And it got me thinking about, what if I didn't have access to internet? What if I didn't have access to those Pinterest boards? I also love having a resource that I can take with me if necessary, that other people could refer to, like my husband can refer to. And in that binder, we know it's all of our family's favorites. I don't have to worry about whether or not someone's going to like them or not, because they're tried, tested, true recipes that we use all the time. And I'm not just talking about food. I encourage you to have a binder or a resource or a space where you have your favorite cleaning recipes. Maybe you have an all-purpose cleaner or a toilet bowl cleaner or something that you really like, and you want to be able to have your whole family access it. Your herbal recipes, your canning recipes, your remedies, and all of your food. I encourage you to have hard copies of these things. One, because it makes for easy use. I refer to my binder more often than I ever will use Pinterest. I hate having recipes on my phone. And yes, some bloggers now have that, preventing the screen from going dark, but not all of them do. And sometimes you'll be looking at a recipe, your screen goes dark, and you've got chicken covered fingers or egg or flour or something on your hands. I'm telling you, an invaluable resource is having a binder where you have all of your recipes right at your fingertips. So one of the reasons I've been putting this project off is because it's a big one. What I'm doing today is I'm actually moving all of our recipes from one binder to a new binder. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. I'll turn the camera around and show you. But it also is giving me a chance to go through my recipes, and I've had a good realization. I've had a good soul talk with myself, and I'm like, girl, you're not going to do sourdough. So get rid of all the sourdough recipes that you haven't touched in 4 years, right? There's certain things that I just never made. The romantic in me was like, yeah, I'm going to make homemade sourdough pretzels and do all this stuff. Yeah, it just never happened. So this gives me a chance to pull out all the recipes that I haven't made in years and years. I know we're not using them. And that makes space for new recipes that I have brought in. Also, my family has kind of changed the way that we're eating. We're more paleo now. We're not doing a lot of grains. We don't eat a lot of foods that are high in phytic acid. So that includes things like lentils, legumes, beans. I do have some favorites. We just don't eat a lot of them. So giving me a chance to kind of pull out those recipes and put in some of those new sort of paleo favorites that we've grown to love. So that's the two main reasons. Let me turn the camera around. So here is old recipe binder. And as you can see, she's well loved. rough shape. I'm worried every single time I pick the binder up that it's going to like fall apart. Another thing that happened, we had a little bit of a water mishap, and as you can see, some of the older recipes had quite a bit of water damage. So I'm going through and I'm pulling those ones out, deciding if I want to keep them, but then also like photocopying the ones or printing out new ones if I need to. In my opinion, this does not have to be an expensive project. See, look, you can see some of the ones that got really bad water damage. This doesn't have to be an expensive project. You need a binder. I've seen them at thrift stores, friends. So I do recommend a heavy duty one, especially if you think you're going to be pulling it out, right, and using it on a daily basis, or even like 3-4 times a week. I do strongly recommend sheet protectors because you're in a kitchen. Like, you're going to spill things, stuff's going to splatter on it. And if you have the ability to wipe it and clean it off instead of having just like hole punch them. And then I do recommend some dividers because then, you know, like I can go through, let me close this one. So we have like breads and muffins, and then we have breakfast recipes, we have our desserts, we have our salads and our sides, we have our vegetarian recipes, we have our paleo, right? And I can make little categories for all of those. Plus I have sections that have all of our personal cleaning products and all of my canning, my favorite go-to canning recipes that aren't in the recipe books that I already own. Right, so it's a couple of hours later and I have my binder done. I was just telling a friend, it was one of those jobs where once I started, I couldn't really stop because I was moving things from one binder to another. And it was a bigger job than I expected because so many of the recipes were water damaged. And so I either had to try to find the originals and print them off again or photocopy them. So that all took time, but it's glorious. Here, let me show you. So I've got some meal plan stuff over here and then my fabulous binder. Now the only thing I wish is that I wish my divider tabs were longer so I could see, but I've got my breads and muffins. Then I think the next one is breakfast. And then desserts, cookies, and bars. And so everything has a home and it's all in like sheet protectors. So all of the recipes are in here. And now what I can do, because I got rid of, friends, I swear, I got rid of probably a third of the recipes that were in there. So it goes to show that this project really definitely needed to be done. And we don't eat a lot of the same things or eat the same way as we used to. So this gave me a lot of space to now go onto my Pinterest boards, look up some of those recipes that I have tried and haven't gotten around to printing yet. And then I'll get those into the binder. And it just, although it took a few hours, it feels really, really good to have it done. If you don't have a recipe binder, let me know in the comments if this inspired you and if you're going to start one. If you do have a recipe binder, let me know what you keep in yours. I actually started a new tab today for beverages for my nourishing herbal infusion recipes, things like golden milk, all that kind of stuff, so I can have that section in there as well. If you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Leave them below. And until next time, this is Corinne from Spiraea Herbs, wishing you health, wellness, and organization.